I wasn't supposed to see the photo because in it, I was already dead, standing in my uncle's living room, head tilted at an unnatural angle, eyes scratched out, and behind me, something tall, something that wasn't human, smiling. The photo was dated 3 days before I even entered that house. I didn't believe in haunted houses. At least not in the way people online talk about them. There's always a reason, right? Old pipes, bad wiring, imagination. That's what I used to think. Until my mother called me late one evening. Her voice sounded off. "Your uncle passed away," she said quietly. I paused. "Which uncle? Your father's older brother? The one who lived outside the city?" I barely remembered him, a quiet man. Never visited anyone, never invited anyone over. "There's something we need," she continued. "Someone has to stay in his house tonight. Just until morning, papers need to be processed." "Why me?" A pause. Then she said something strange. "Because you're the only one who agreed." I frowned. "Agreed? I never—" "You'll understand when you get there," she cut in quickly. "Just don't stay upstairs." The call ended before I could ask anything else. That should have been my first warning. The drive took almost 2 hours. The further I went, the emptier everything became. Streetlights disappeared. Roads turned to dirt. Even my GPS stopped working halfway. By the time I reached the house, it didn't feel like I was in the same world anymore. The house stood alone, surrounded by dead trees that looked burned, their branches twisted like hands reaching toward the sky. No lights, no movement, no sound, not even insects. When I stepped out of the car, the silence hit me instantly. It wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, like the air itself didn't want to move. I unlocked the door. It creaked open slowly, and for a second, I hesitated because it felt like the house was waiting. The smell inside was worse than I expected. Old wood, dust, and something faintly rotten, like something had been left to decay, but never fully disappeared. I covered my nose and stepped inside. Furniture was draped in white sheets. Everything untouched, frozen in time, but the walls, they were covered in photographs, dozens of them, family pictures, old portraits. Some looked decades old. I stepped closer, and that's when I noticed it. Every single face had their eyes scratched out, not neatly, not carefully, violently, deep marks carved into the paper over and over, like someone was trying to destroy their gaze or erase it. My chest tightened. Okay, that's not normal. I tried to ignore it, dropped my bag in the living room, sat down on the old couch, pulled out my phone. No signal. No internet, just the dim glow of my flashlight. That's when I heard it. Tap, tap. I froze instantly. It came from upstairs. Soft, slow, but deliberate. I held my breath. Silence. Then again. Tap. Tap, tap, not random, not like pipes. It sounded like someone knocking, but not on a door. From inside the walls, I stood up, trying to calm myself. "This is nothing," I muttered. "Old house, sounds happen." I walked into the hallway. That's where I saw it, a tall mirror. Antique, framed in dark wood, covered in a thin layer of dust. I don't know why, but I felt drawn to it. I stepped closer, raised my hand, and wiped the surface clean. My reflection stared back at me, tired, uneasy, but normal. Then something moved behind me. Just for a second, a shape, tall, standing in the doorway. I spun around. Nothing. Empty hallway. My heart pounded. I turned back to the mirror and my stomach dropped. The dust. It was back, exactly how it was before. Untouched. At exactly 10:03 p.m., my phone rang. The sound nearly made me jump. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Hello? Silence, then breathing. Slow, wet. Too close. Like the person was right next to my ear. Hello? I said again, louder. A whisper came through. So quiet, I almost didn't hear it. Leave. My throat went dry. Who is this? A pause. Then, you weren't invited. The line went dead. I tried calling back. No signal, no bars. Nothing. Like the outside world didn't exist anymore. I shouldn't have gone upstairs, but something was pulling me. Every step creaked loudly beneath my feet. The tapping had stopped, but that made it worse. At the end of the hallway, I saw it, a door, different from the others. Darker. Older, covered in scratches, deep ones. I stepped closer. Ran my fingers over them. They weren't random, they were vertical. Repeated, desperate, fingernail marks. Like someone had tried to claw their way out. My hand slowly reached for the handle. The moment I touched it, it was freezing cold. And then, tap, tap, tap. From the other side. I stumbled back, heart racing now. No, no. That's when I felt it. Breath, right behind my neck. Warm, close. A whisper followed. You opened it before? I turned instantly. Nothing, but the air had changed. It felt heavier, thicker. Like something invisible was standing right in front of me, watching. I ran downstairs. I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to leave, but when I reached the living room, I stopped. The photos, they were different. The scratched out eyes were gone. Now every face was staring at me, smiling, wide, too wide. Their mouths stretched unnaturally, and then I saw the last one. My hands started shaking. It was me. Standing in that same living room, taken from behind. I stepped closer to the photo, my breathing shallow. That's when I noticed something worse. I wasn't alone in it. Behind me, there was something else, tall, shadow-like. Its shape distorted, and it was standing closer to me than I expected. Almost touching me, I looked at the other photos. Every single one had the same figure behind every person, watching, waiting. Then upstairs, creak, the locked door opened, slowly. I heard footsteps, heavy, dragging. Step, drag, step, drag. Coming down the stairs, I couldn't move. My body froze. And then I saw it. It stood at the top of the stairs, too tall for the house. Its head nearly touching the ceiling. Its arms hung unnaturally long, its fingers almost brushing the steps. Its face. There was no face, no eyes, no mouth, just darkness. It tilted its head slowly. You stayed. My voice barely came out. What? Are you? It took a step down. You replaced him. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? Another step. He left. A pause. Then, now you stay. That's when my body finally moved. I ran. I didn't think. Didn't look back. I'd burst through the front door and sprinted to my car, hands shaking so badly I could barely unlock it. I got inside, locked the doors, started the engine. My chest was heaving. I thought I made it. Then I looked up. In the rearview mirror, it was sitting in the back seat. perfectly still, its head tilted, watching me. And for the first time, it smiled. They found my car the next morning, engine still running. Driver's door open, no sign of me, no footprints, no struggle. Nothing. But inside the house, there was a new photograph. Hanging neatly on the wall, a man standing in the living room, his eyes scratched out, and behind him, something smiling. If you were in that house and heard something knocking from behind that locked door, would you open it or would you leave, knowing it might follow you anyway?